Alright guys, it's time for me to give you what is perhaps my most controversial movie review of 2013. Hey there guys, what's up? It's All About Mike 18 here with another movie review. Guys, in this video, I will be reviewing American Hustle. Now real quick guys, I apologize for the fact that I haven't done a movie review for a new film in about 3 weeks. The last new movie I saw in the theaters was Catching Fire, and that was weeks ago. So the reason being, no new movie that came out. I really didn't want to see any new movie that came out, and the movies that I did want to see, like Mandela and Inside Llewyn Davis, they didn't come to my theaters. They're still in limited release. I'm still waiting to see them, but they're not out yet, so I can't go see them. So anyway, guys, I'm going to be reviewing David O. Russell's newest film, American Hustle. And as you know, David O. Russell's kind of been on a hot streak. He's given 2 good films leading up to this. I haven't seen The Fighter, but I know everyone's praised it. It's, you know, Oscar nominated. I did see his film that came out last year, Silver Linings Playbook, which was without a doubt one of my favorites of last year. It was an excellent movie, really sweet, extraordinary performances. And now we have American Hustle. Now, American Hustle is another one of his newest films, and after watching the trailers for this movie, I'm going to be honest with you guys, it wasn't the story that got me wanting to go see this movie that was depicted in the trailers. You know, the story of this con artist scam. That's not why I wanted to go see this movie. The 2 reasons why I wanted to go see this movie is, 1, because it's been getting a crazy amount of Oscar buzz. That is obvious, and I wanted to see it, you know, to get ready for the Oscars. But 2 was the ensemble cast, because let's face it guys, this is without a doubt one of the best ensemble casts we've had for a film all year long. That's without question. I mean, it is. That's what this movie is. So, I was kind of hoping that it was just me and there was something wrong with the trailers, that the story would be more exciting and would suck me into the movie when I actually watched the movie. But now, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is why this is my most controversial review of the year. This film is not one of my favorite movies of the year, to be honest. I really didn't enjoy this movie as much as many of you guys probably did, as much as the critics are enjoying this film, because this film is getting a crazy amount of praise. And in my opinion, it may be a little overrated. I'm being honest with you. I'm not going to agree with everyone and say, oh yeah, go see it, it's one of the best movies of the year, because in my opinion, it's just not. And this happens sometimes. Some people just don't agree with the majority on movies. That happens, and this time I'm not in the majority that agrees with this film. I just really didn't like it. And who knows, that my opinion may change after I watch it a second time, but as of right now, this just isn't one of my favorite movies of the year. So anyway, guys, moving on, let's talk about the plot in the film. And I'm going to obviously mention or sum it up without spoiling anything, so don't worry about spoilers. But anyway, the film is based on a true story. It's based on true events, as it says in the beginning of the movie, which I thought was so funny. It literally, the text on screen popped up and it said, some of this actually happened. When I saw that, I burst out in laughter. I thought that was hilarious. I really did. I thought that movie was gutsy and ballsy to actually have the balls to do that. That was really funny. But anyway, so as I said, the film is based on a true story. It's based on this con artist scam that, you know, involved the FBI in the 1970s and 1980s. And in this film, we have our main character, this really smart con man played by Christian Bale. You know, he really knows what he's doing. He's, you know, been involved in a lot of scams. He eventually meets Amy Adams' character, gets her involved in his, like, operation that he has set up, and then, you know, they pull off all these different scams. Amy Adams takes up a fake identity, and then they cross paths with Bradley Cooper's character. Now, Bradley Cooper plays an FBI agent who kind of forces them to get involved in this operation that he is setting up. He wants to set up this big, giant scam. Well, not this. At first, it didn't seem to be a giant scam operation, but he wants to get them involved in this scam operation that involves the mayor of New Jersey, played by Renner. And eventually, it starts to involve a lot more people. You know, these mobsters, the shiek played by Michael Pena, and it starts to involve all these other people, and Christian Bale and Amy Adams' characters, they get in way too over their heads. They're in way too deep in this situation, and eventually they just want to break away and get out of this crazy mess that they're in, and they gotta, you know, get out of this situation alive because they're putting their own lives on the line. And oh, how could I forget to mention, Christian Bale's character is married to Jennifer Lawrence, who is also in the film. So yeah, that's probably a lot to take in, but I basically said everything that happened in the film, you know, the overall premise, without spoiling anything. And here's the thing with the screenplay, or with the premise of the film, guys, and this is the number one reason why I just wasn't a huge fan of this film. Now, I'll elaborate on this later on, but my main reason why I just wasn't a huge fan of this film is because it just never really appealed to me. That premise of this con artist scam just never really struck me as a really fascinating premise. I was never really sucked into this film as I started watching it, you know what I mean? That's the main reason why I just wasn't a huge fan of this film. However, there is one aspect of the movie that did suck me into it, and I'll explain that later. But I will definitely give a shout out to David O. Russell's direction. He is a fantastic director. If he can direct these actors and have them give these extraordinary performances, so he definitely did a good job again. And I also will give nods to the screenplay, because without a doubt, while the story did not fascinate me, and I just wasn't a huge fan of it, the screenplay is very well written. The dialogue is really, really good between these characters. Really is. So yeah, that's just something I just didn't like about the movie, and I'm sorry to tell you this, but that's just how I feel. So anyway, here's the thing that I really need to discuss, because this is why I enjoyed this movie as much as I did, and that is the performances. This is without a doubt one of the best well-acted films of the year. It might even be the most well-acted film I've seen all year, with an ensemble cast that literally can act this good. They've all been nominated for Oscars. Yeah, even Jeremy Renner. They've all been nominated for Oscars. Two of them have won, Bale and Jennifer Lawrence, and so you know that this movie was going to have extraordinary performances, and it did. Performances in this movie are some of the best I've seen all year, and I will be upset if these actors do not get nominated all across the board. The only one who I think is going to get snubbed is Jeremy Renner, because, you know, you have Bale. I mean, you have Bradley Cooper will get nominated. I doubt they'll nominate Jeremy Renner too, but he was really good too. So anyway, I'll talk about each of them individually really briefly. You have Christian Bale playing the main con man, who I was really impressed that he had to gain this much weight. So that was dedication right there. That should be enough for an Oscar nomination. He had to gain a lot of weight to play this role. If you've seen him in the Dark Knight movies, you saw how, you know, thin he was in those movies. He was still built. In this movie, he's less built, and he's very, you know, he's got a stomach, so he's got a belly. So I was really impressed with that. And apart from his appearance, Christian Bale was phenomenal in this film. One of the best performances from an actor I've seen all year, without a doubt. I was really into this movie as much as I was because he was so good in this movie. Amy Adams is also really good in the film, who's always nominated at the Oscars but never wins. She just goes and just sits there and watches everyone else win, which sucks for her. But anyway, she was really good in the movie. Her scenes between her and Bradley Cooper were really seductive, and I really enjoyed those scenes. Bradley Cooper. Speaking of Bradley Cooper, this guy's on fire. Bradley Cooper, I haven't seen him give a bad performance in a while, actually. I don't think I ever really have, you know. Say what you want about him in the Hangover movies. He's good in those. But this isn't his best performance I've seen him give. I mean, he was extraordinary in this. He really, really is. But in my opinion, his best performance is from his other David O. Russell film, Silver Linings Playbook. In my opinion, that was one of the best performances of last year, and I loved him in Silver Linings Playbook. He is really good in this. Just in my opinion, he's a lot better in that, playing the bipolar man. That was excellent in that movie. But he is extraordinary in this, as well as the FBI agent. And he's been really good in Silver Linings Playbook, this, Place Beyond the Pines. He's doing really good with his career. Jennifer Lawrence. Let's briefly talk about Jennifer Lawrence, who, as I said in my Catching Fire review, she is the best actress we have working today in Hollywood, undoubtedly. She is one of the best actresses we have working today. That's a fact. I am mesmerized by her, not just by her lovely appearance. Every single time I watch her on screen. It's just how good an actress she is, how important her character was in this movie when you think about it, and I just loved her performance. She was funny. She gave her all, as each of these actors did, and she was excellent. I want to see all these actors get nominated. I will be really upset if none of them, if any one of those four that I just mentioned do not get nominated. Jeremy Renner was also extraordinary in this movie as the politician. And finally, Michael Pena was really good as well as the Sheik. His scenes were funny. And there is another really famous actor who comes into this movie at some point in the middle. I loved that scene. That scene was really exciting in my opinion, apart from the beginning of the movie, which I didn't find that exciting. But that one famous actor, it's a special cameo appearance. He doesn't come in the movie at anywhere else in the movie. So that's all I'm going to say. He was great in that one scene. So anyway, guys, moving on, I'm finally going to give my rating for American Hustle. Forgot to mention the movie's rated R, very appropriately rated, I must add. But I'm going to give my rating for the movie. And a lot of you are going to be surprised. As I said, this is not one of my favorite movies of the year. I had a lot of not a lot of problems. I had one big problem with the movie, which is why I just didn't like it as much as all of you did. But that's fine. If you like the movie, that's fine. In my opinion, it's just not one of my favorites of the year. It's not one of the worst of the year or anything like that. In my opinion, it's just not one of my favorites. So guys, I'm going to give American Hustle an 8.5 out of 10. I can't go higher than that, and that's generous. And the reason why I went that high with that rating is because of this cast and how good they are. They're all at the top of their game. Every single one of these actors is fantastic, and that is why I love this movie as much as I did. They kept me engaged in the movie. If they got regular actors that I'd never seen before in movies and they were mediocre to play these roles, I would have hated this movie. But because they had these well-known actors and these really good actors in this movie, that is why I enjoyed this movie as much as I did. Because I'm going to be raving about these performances for weeks now, because they're all extraordinary. However, the story is really what bothered me. But anyway, a few other things I enjoyed. As I said, David O. Russell's direction. The screenplay was very well written. The movie was funny. The third act actually engaged me from like the end of the second to the beginning and end of the third act. I got really engaged in the movie because I wanted to see what was going to happen. But it wasn't because of the story. That's not what engaged me. I wanted to know what was going to happen to these characters because I really grew to love these characters. These characters were all fully developed and very well written in my opinion. That's why I enjoyed this movie, as were the characters in Silver Linings Playbook. But anyway, a few other things I like. The soundtrack was very 70s and 80s. I thought that was very fitting in the movie. I enjoyed that. And also the costume design and the makeup and hairstyling was also really good. Like these characters like change costumes like every single scene. Like each character had to have gone through at least 20 to 30 costumes in this movie. That's crazy. I gotta praise the movie for that. I've never really seen a movie do that much like I did in American Hustle. I haven't. I mean, that was great. That's one thing I really enjoyed about the movie. And the hairstyling was really great too. These characters have some crazy hair designs, especially Bale. That was funny. But anyway, guys, as I said, my number one complaint with the film is that the story never really fascinated me. And that's why I didn't go that high with this film. That's why this film isn't going to be on my top 10 list. No part of the movie just really stuck me in, especially in the beginning. The beginning felt a little slow in my opinion. I just wasn't really fascinated in the story that was going on. And it's probably because of the subject of this con artist scam. That just isn't really that appealing to me, you know? And you could say that about a lot of movies. I don't know. Some people do say that about some movies that come out, but in my opinion, that's how I felt about American Hustle. That's why I just didn't love this movie as much as you guys may have. You guys were probably more invested in the movie than I was. I really just wasn't. And that may change if I see this movie again, but that's how I feel. And yeah, a few scenes were a little slow. And the only thing that I really cared about in the film were these characters, and I wanted to see what was going to happen to them. And that's why I loved the movie as much as I did. If it wasn't for the actors, I would not have liked this movie. I really wouldn't have. But anyway, guys, with that being said, I think American Hustle is a good movie. It's not great. It's a little overhyped for me. It's a little overrated for me. It's really good. It's just not the best because the story just never fully engaged me. And I'm not going to lie here and say, oh, it's one of the best of the year. It just isn't, in my opinion. It's not one of my favorites. But it is still a really extraordinarily acted film. All these actors are Oscar-worthy for sure. They're all going to get nominated, mark my words. And I would say see the movie for that reason. Go see it for these performances. But if you want a really truthfully engaging story, in my opinion, you're just not going to find that with this movie. the story just never really sucked me in at any point. But anyway, guys, that's how I feel. That's my opinion. 8.5 out of 10 for me, and I went that high because of these actors and just how good they were, how entertaining they were in the movie, and that's why I enjoyed the movie as much as I did. So guys, what did you think of American Hustle? Please don't kill me in the comments. I'll really appreciate that. Let me know what you thought of it down below, guys. I really would love to know what you thought of it. And did you think did you think the story was entertaining or appealing? Let me know down below. I'm curious to know what you guys have to say about that. And also, guys, stay tuned for more movie reviews coming. I got a few more 2013 movies to review. And also stay tuned for my top 10 list of my favorite films of 2013. That video is coming soon as well. So thank you guys a lot for watching. Bye.